Rodgers just threw the ball 70 yards, and the Bengals are going to be 5-4 the next time they play the Steelers, guys. You heard it here.
Hey, Tomlin knew, baby. Flacco, AFC North. He
He
knew.
did.
Division rival.
He
He had an
did
inkling.
know. He did. He seriously, like, it made a lot of sense as the game went on. Like, as the game went on, you were like, he knew that Joe Flacco would carve them up.
I don't know if he knew that Joe Flacco would keep it on a zone read for how many yards?
Unreal.
At least it took forever.
12 yards. 12 yards.
It took forever, and my heart stopped when it happened. When you watch Joe, like I'm really a 40-year-old man, like 2 months younger than this dude, and I'm watching him like the first QB sneak down there when his neck gets like, I'm like, God, that fucking hurts, dude. Like, you sure?
Yeah, I respected it though because Aaron Rodgers was standing like 10 yards in the backfield when they tried to do the tush push. Flacco was up in the mix, and then the tight end came in and was shoving on his.
Well, he didn't have big Darnell Washington, who's 300 plus pounds according to the Chiron at the bottom.
This is so ageist of me, but when Flacco took off on that zone read, my first thought was a hamstring. Like right away, I was like, "Don't do a hammy."
If it did in the first quarter, he'd probably pull the thing off the phone, but he was nice and warm. But here's the thing that was shocking, and it was like the fact that they couldn't get pressure on Flacco through much of the game made it possible. I don't know if it was a factor of like we think the rush is going to get there, we're going to play so much man coverage, but I thought the amount of man coverage that they played in this game, after they saw that it clearly wasn't working, to me it was like criminal. And Ramsey, he's fighting a good fight out there, but Jamar Chase, he caught the ball. I mean, they threw it to, and he dropped probably 3-4 balls.
I know.
At what number on the way to 23 targets do you say we should probably double this guy?
We should probably double him. And we should probably change something because it was pitch and catch. And there were drop coverages for Cincinnati for sure. I think it was Geno Stone maybe twice on the same Freiermuth play down the middle of the field. Now, it was honestly, I thought the first one, the first touchdown, not the long one, was a product of it's like 3rd and 18 or some shit. Mm-hmm. And the backers it's 3rd and goal, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was 3rd and 18, but they're kind of like a high red situation, so confined space, and
the backers got no depth. I just there was a lot of bad defense being played tonight, right down to dropping the coverage at the end of the game. Cincinnati hadn't had an explosive run basically all year.
Yeah, their run game was kind of cooking, man. They had 142 yards rushing. We haven't seen that all year at all. And like I said, 12 yards from Joe Flacco on his own read. I can't get over that. That's incredible to me. Case Brown looked really good. Their run game was nice. I mean, I think you get to a point in my mind where if you're the Steelers, you kind of have to ask yourself, when is this defense going to kind of be the Steelers defense of old? 31 points on a short week to the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Flacco is a little bit concerning, especially because the AFC North is weak. I was just gassing the Steelers on our live show on Monday, talking about how they're in the driver's seat. When you look at these games, 32 points to the Jets. They gave up 31 to the Seahawks, 14 to the Patriots, 21 to the Vikings, only 9 to the Browns. But it just doesn't feel like the same Steelers defense that we've seen in the past. And especially, like you said, the edge rush felt, just felt pretty lacking. I have so much respect for Cam Hayward, so much respect for TJ Watt. Keanu Benton, who's a Wisconsin guy, had a sack tonight on kind of a blown slide protection. But you just need more out of the defense.
You absolutely do. They were forcing turnovers. And when you're living off turnovers, you better keep forcing them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the performances you alluded to, giving up 30 points in multiple games this year in this young season, just not it was like the Patriots game. They gave up, 14 points, but Patriots put the ball on the ground to throw a pick 5 times. And, you need those things to keep coming if you want to keep it up. And that's why, people talk about luck. and like the luck index and whatnot. Like I'm pretty sure I don't look at that, but I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh's was high going to the game. And Nolan, you I don't want to put words in your mouth, but probably waiting for these guys to lose.
Oh yeah, I've like all through September, I was like, golly, I need these guys to. Even after Seattle, I'm like, I need these guys to drop another game because I felt like I texted you. I was like, I feel like they're a Fugazi 4-1 team. Like even looking at the wins, like Beau listed them off. I mean, that was a shootout with the Jets. They're one of the worst teams in the league. You barely you beat the Patriots by one possession with 5 turnovers. The Seahawks game, in my opinion, was kind of ugly. They kind of got the ball run up their ass in that game.
Yep.
And so even in the games they won, or even I should say, even in the games that weren't like those 30-point games defensively, it's not like they were passing the eye test defensively. And I think I felt like at some point the dam was kind of going to break. And like Beau talked about all the talent on this defense, and watching this defense through September, I felt like just kind of looking at the names, I was like, all right, at some point this group's going to figure it out. But after tonight, I don't know.
Well,
I'm
listen,
kind of giving up.
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of, I think they can make the playoffs for sure. And with the lead they have in the division, it wouldn't be crazy to think they could win it. But like, if they do win it, it'll be because Cincinnati doesn't get their shit together, and they don't do this on a regular basis, or Baltimore just can't get back in the race. I don't. If your team can't rush the passer, if they can't stop the run, you got corners out there who like great players, but they're on the older end. I that's why I look at the Bengals and say, like, I've been imploring the Bengals to make moves, to make a move for a quarterback, and I don't know if I said this earlier, but, on the other side of things, teams that are waiting for an edge rusher, like say San Francisco, that, it's like, hey, we're going to trade for Trey Hendrickson. It's going to make things okay. We're going to get some pass rush in the building, or the Eagles or whoever it might be are watching this game and they fucking hate the Bengals, just as much as you pointed out. Mike Tomlin hates Andrew Berry. All these other teams hate the Bengals. They're like, you've got players like DJ Turner played his ass off tonight.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys tonight that look like they don't want to go home. They don't want this thing to be over. And they beat Pittsburgh without Trey Hendrickson. Yep. I just thought it would be too easy. And it was for a lot of the night. But the thing I didn't account for is that Joe would go for 33.
33 points, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, though, Chris. Like, there's something to be said for just making a move and just instilling hope into your team. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of what we saw here, especially like short week, Flacco, like a guy, he just seems so cool, like the real Joe Cool on the team right now. They're cutting to him on the sideline. It's like, I haven't seen this man utter a word. Every single time the broadcast is showing him, he's just got the gray beard. He just looks like a weary old cowboy. I don't know. It was cool, man. But just the injection of hope into the team, I feel like is really, it's a thing. It's like you can kind of feel it.
He's relatable because you're like, this dude is like a middle-aged guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, and he's out here.
It might be relatable for you, Chris. I don't know.
It is. That's
I'm
what
more
I'm saying.
Of a Joe
like,
Burrow guy. That's
I know you're more Burrow. You're more Jackson Dart. But if your quarterback spirit animal is Jackson Dart, mine is Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
because I probably dress like Joe Flacco, just like you dress like Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this game and I'm like, I watched him quarterback sneak the first time and his neck got all jammed up, and I'm like, fuck, that probably hurts. Like I can imagine what that feels like right now. Like, it's kind of cool though that he just wants to continue taking every available job.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, like, you give a guy weapons like this, I don't know a lot of teams that feel great about matching up with this group. The only thing you have to do is replicate the protection that you had tonight, which is not, it's a big like asterisk. Like
I wonder what his time to completion was, though. I mean, I feel like those stats aren't immediately available after the game, are they, Noel?
Let me see if I can find.
They won some quick game early. They were banging some outs and banging some little in cuts, and they got Jalen Ramsey a bunch of times.
Yeah,
they got him for a PI one time, and Jamar Chase, who caught the ball a million times, dropped the ball fucking probably 4 times in the game.
Yeah, that's an incredible stat line, though.
You know, I'm not saying that they could, you know, that the Bengals are contenders in this form, but if they slide in the playoffs with 9 wins, Joe Burrow comes
That's
back.
the thing. It's such a
The
confusing
AFC,
NFL, man, because it's like any team is beatable. Any team, I feel like the AFC is wide open now. You know, it kind of has felt that way a little bit, but I'm looking at, I'm like,
not
the
to me.
North is historically such a strong division, and you're like, well, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know that the AFC is wide open. What I do know, though, is that the AFC playoffs won't be as deep as the NFC. And, like, that's the only hope there is. Like, if this team was an NFC team and you've got to bide your time and compete with wild card teams like maybe the, you know, the Falcons or, you know, the NFC North number 2, whoever that is, or the NFC West number 2, you probably get left behind trying to, you know, bide your time till Joe gets back. But I think in the AFC, you got a shot at it.
I agree. I mean,
I don't want to be too, you know, get out over my skis after this game, but
I don't know. I really was surprised. I thought the Steelers would perform better defensively and kind of just continue to get into a little bit of a groove. And then all of a sudden, fucking Joe Flacco throwing a million balls to Jamar Chase, raw dog in the Steelers. I mean, also, like, I was really impressed about the atmosphere at Cincinnati, man. I've played there a handful of times. It was fun to see the whiteout. I don't know. Like, it looked kind of popping.
we didn't even talk about Aaron Rodgers. He threw a couple hideous balls. You know, like, I don't know what he was thinking on the deep shot. I mean, like, he didn't even like look the safety off, and you know, he's forgot more football than I'll ever know. But like in that moment, I was like, "What you doing, dog?" And then, you know, there were others.
That was both bad decision and a bad ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wrong on both counts there.
That was the one he was trying to throw it to Metcalf, right?
On the deep shot, yeah.
I just wonder if, like, you know, I mean, it was a bad ball, but when you have DK Metcalf out there,
Yeah,
the
safety's like camped out up there.
Right.
He's like,
I love the way you put that. What are you doing, dog?
And you know, maybe that explains, like, everybody else is like horny for the 50-50 ball, like to come over and help with that thing, and that's what opened up the seam, you know, to Freiermuth later in the game. But like, it just, I don't know. And the Bengals got a lot of work to do. They probably ran that toss play 6 times in the second half, and they didn't stop it once. But you know, I'm almost surprised the Steelers didn't just keep running the football at times in this game.
Yeah,
because there's some really bad tape out there if you watch the technique up front for the Bengals at times, and they got some young players. They're also like playing some young linebackers. So, you know, team could keep getting better this year. I don't know. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to turn this into a huge thing, but that's a really good win for the Bengals, who that's the team that's number 1 in the division right now. So, hey, Thursday Night Football's been fucking fire, guys.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I got a question for you, Chris. This is not related to the Thursday night game, but this was some media that came out today. Did you see the NFL Films video they put out on Brian Branch?
It kind of felt like a hit piece. There's so many bad actors in this whole thing. Obviously, the NFL. Well, okay, there's a few. Number 1, NFL for not addressing what Dan Campbell claims to be a very out of the ordinary operation after that touchdown. Right call, wrong way to get there. So the NFL is sitting there and they're not saying dick about that, but then they're posting like a hit video on Brian.
Propaganda.
I'm like, golly, dude, what is going on, dude?
Yeah, it felt personal.
It's reality.
Yeah,
what the fuck is going on here, dude? Like, isn't there a Hatch Act or something? And then so, you know, you had that, and then Lions fans just got to get over that one. I mean, like, you know, that wasn't the difference in the game. I promise you, it just wasn't.
I mean, I think it's very understandable to be frustrated and confused about it. You know what I mean? You got to move on. To me, though, the fucking NFL Films thing was just so bizarre.
So wild.
It's like,
so wild. It doesn't help the Chiefs' cause.
The amount of production value put behind that is crazy.
That stuff's available. Not to be like, oh yeah, me and Nolan, we used to be on inside the NFL, but like we used to sit in there. They have all that shit. Like they have every angle of everything. Yeah. If you want to know like what in particular happened, like behind the scenes or just the angle of the play, like, you know, they had a perfect view of that. Well, you could see it on all 22, the crack block that went wrong with. But here's what I was going to say. and it kind of relates to that. And then I think it's bedtime. But I texted Nate because Nate's one of these big time like conspiracy theorists, as you know. And Nate, Nate was a week after Jacksonville got the benefit of, and this is how it goes. Sometimes teams aren't penalized a lot. Sometimes some are. Kansas City was called for like double-digit penalties in that game Monday night. They win the game. The conspiracy people come out and say every call goes the Chiefs' way, especially in prime time, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did it again this week. And so I text Nate during the show or during this game, and I say, Nate, if the Bengals were the Chiefs tonight, how many people would be losing their fucking minds? You understand what I'm saying? The Bengals seemingly got so many.
The shoe was on the other foot.
And some of the right calls, like, I don't know how you feel about Jamar Chase pushing off. I don't know who initiated the contact. I could see that being a push off. I could see it being DPI. There were other situations as well, like a late challenge flag. Yeah. Touchdown comes off the board on a Frazier hold that, like, probably, was a terrible hold. It was textbook hold, obvious. But if that was the Chiefs on defense, everybody would have said, what the fuck? That's not even near the play. You had a late PI before the half in the red zone. You remember that one? It was like a little jersey grab. People would have been freaking out. So I guess I'm just illustrating the point that whoever's in prime time, if there's the perception nationally with the Chiefs that they're going to get every call, it's going to appear that way. To every fan base watching, if your team's playing, you're getting dicked down. That's your MO as a fan. Okay? But the Chiefs are the only ones that everybody's rooting against them on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that was wild about the game the other night was the Lions. I think that it was 80% of the bets were on the Lions, which to me was like before the game, especially with the injuries to the Lions. And this is no disrespect because I think the Lions are one of the best teams in the NFC. With the guys they had down, that was free money Sunday night. Kansas City was going to win that game, even with the tackle out late. Yeah. But that was the thing. It was like I just couldn't see how people didn't understand that. But it was so obvious to me that people were going to flip out about those calls. And then the New York thing kills you.
Yeah.
Because you want people to stop talking about it. All it does is put gas on the fire.
Exactly. The lack of transparency, you're saying? It just
and the only theory I have, Beau, is, and I'm not absolving the NFL at all. Like they got to talk about it, and they can't do that. But it wouldn't be the first time that maybe they were toying with something behind the scenes. And I kind of wonder if some more calls than we think are being altered from New York in primetime spots, eyeing an implementation of a future, adjustment to the rule. Because ultimately the right call was made down at the goal line.
Yeah, right. I think it's a really interesting point, Chris. I was wondering the same thing, like how much the fact that it was a standalone game influenced that happened. Like let's say the Lions were playing the Titans in like a 1 p.m. spot. Yeah. Would you have seen that kind of situation play out? I don't know. But I had kind of the same thought thinking more about it today. I think that's really interesting.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know shit. The biggest point I want to drive home is what happened if you are to believe Dan Campbell. And Dan Campbell's like fucking George Washington to me. He never told a lie. So if you believe Dan Campbell, which I do, then there was something fishy about the way the right call was made. That's it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys one more?
Louis Riddick was like rough night in the neighborhood for Brian Branch, and here
they're just pointing out like relatively routine. Like everybody gets beat in the NFL. Like we know that. You play a game, you're gonna have bad snaps, you're gonna get beat. They're just pointing out like particular plays that he's getting beat on and making it seem really personal. I'm like, what the fuck did this guy do to you, man? What the fuck?
I need like Louis Riddick to low light like normal people's bad nights.
Let's low light Louis Riddick, bro.
I don't want to low light Louis Riddick. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to. It's too late at night to think of an example.
What were you about to say, Noel?
Well, as we sign off here, I wanted to ask you guys one more penalty question. Did you find it ironic that the Steelers were called for a false start on the tush push tonight?
I did.
That was a pretty good laugh.
Yeah,
I did. I think a lot of people were pissed off and saying, "What about now?" But again, like maybe maybe it starts tonight.
It's like an odd form of serendipity, you know. It just feels wrong, but so right at the same time. Going back to this game, I have one more thing I'll say. I absolutely loved when T. Higgins slid. That was a great ball by Flacco. I love that. Like that, I think Herb Streeter, I can't remember, said it was brilliant. Like that was one of those things where I was so pumped about that. It just gave me a little mini chub.
A little maple tree.
Like I feel like 99 out of 100 players are going to run that in, you know, and then it's, oh, fuck, Aaron Rodgers has a lot of time on the clock, and they probably would have had, two timeouts at that point?
They had 2 timeouts.
Yeah.
It was the perfect thing to do, and they ran it down to damn near 0, and it bought me a Thursday night time machine victory. Macon me and Macon both picked the Bengals.
Yeah.
He picked the Bengals by 3. I had him by 4. I had him by 2. So thank you, T. Higgins, my brother.
Good ball.
Smart ball player. Smart ball player.
Unselfish. You love that from a wide receiver. You know, his boy just had 23 targets. T. Higgins had 10, which is fucking crazy also. But, you know, Jamar Chase was the star of the show. But T. Higgins, that's a nose guard play of the day for me, baby. I love that.
Flacco just unboxed his recliner and his CPAP machine. He's just learning the plays, dude. He torched the Steelers. $130 million defense, bro. That's a nice $130 million defense you have there.
Yeah, he didn't even crack a smile, you know.
It'd be a shame if a guy born in 1985 torched you tonight. That was incredible, dude.
I loved it. It was great.
They were calling it the Unc Bowl.
Would you? Yeah, I know that's hilarious. Just a bunch of 4-year-olds out here tush pushing. What'd you think of the white unis for the Bengals?
They're all right.
Yeah,
I like their orange pants when they wear their orange pants. No. But.
Yeah. I just want everyone to know that there were a couple YouTube comments last week saying that I look the most washed out of any of us. I look the oldest. And so I did my skincare routine and shaved before this Thursday night midnight podcast.
I knew the lighting looked
and I put lighting on just for you motherfuckers, all right? Because I'm young and spry and youthful.
You look
fuckers.
Did you
look at that? That's a win for the comment section. Get in your head.
Oh, totally. I texted Chris about it. I was pissed.
I was like, man, no big deal. Like
I commented, I said, Chad, am I cooked?
People on the planet, dude. They're nothing but negative sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I look good, dude.
You look great, bro.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
You look good too.
Thanks, man. Speaking of age, the quarterbacks in this game had mad neck hair. This is like a neck hair bowl, dude. These dudes, man, this is the groomer bowl. This is the fucking brawn groomer bowl.
All the young guys are just getting cut up by the barbers in the locker room for Thursday night football, and Flacco sits down in the chair. He's like, "Yeah, let me get the back of my neck. Just get the back here real quick."
Hey, Joe, you take the sweater off as he gets in the shower. No, honestly, dude, like my kids were like, "Yo, they got a lot of hair," like, you know, like. Or no, it was like my wife was like, "Yeah, they don't care. Like that's it." I'm like, "No, they literally are like middle-aged men that have neck hair, dude. It's not a like they don't give a fuck thing." Like,
bro, I just want to see Flacco run one in and do the Jackson Dart TikTok dance, you know, but like really with some emphasis.